I don't know how familiar you are with the China situation that just happened in New York.
Yeah.
There was 300 SIM card servers with over 100,000 SIM cards capable of taking 20 million offline.
They shut down all cell phone communications. What does that mean for the population, especially in a city that's as dense as Manhattan?
It's absolute chaos. China attacks us with an EMP and we lose our power. We're not even gonna make it 3 months without power.
A lot of people would die off.
Have you heard of Meshtastic?
No.
So it's super cool. And, you know, I don't know how familiar you are with the China situation that just happened in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
I mean, I can talk about it briefly. I wrote some, just so I make sure I have the numbers correct on that. There was 300 SIM card servers with over 100,000 SIM cards capable of 20 million, or taking 20 million offline. So, and that's the tri-state region of New York. So like not just New York, but the surrounding states too. And that's just with the ones that they found. So I think it would be kind of naive to think, you know, there's not more of these all over our entire country.
So what could that have done?
So it would have been a denial of service attack is the technical term for it, but it would have been so many, like have you ever been to a concert or a big event where everybody's there and your phone's going so slow and no calls are going through?
Yep.
That's because that's just so many people are there. It's denial of service. This is a distributed denial of service, meaning coming from multiple angles with, you know, let's say each one sending 100 text messages a minute. It's intentionally trying to flood the towers with so much data that they can't function. They can't keep up with it. So that's essentially what that was set up to do. And to my knowledge, the way they found that, at least partially, was from a tip. So I don't think they're going to get a tip everywhere that China or whoever, I'm assuming China in almost all cases, has these all over our country, which scares the crap out of me. Mm-hmm. So I started looking into it.
What would they, okay, so I really want to dive in. I have an idea of where this is going, but I want you to describe like, okay, they shut down all cell phone communications. What does that mean for the population, especially in a city that's as dense as Manhattan?
It's absolute chaos is what happened. It's absolute chaos. Everyone relies on a phone right now in some sort of way to connect with their families, to pay their bills, to, you know, get into their cars, and like myself included, to get into their houses, to pay for things. It's like if, you know, to call for emergency services. Yeah, like whatever, you know, all of these things. And if you take it away, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, if China attacks us with an EMP and we lose our power, I mean, some stuff that I've read means people are thinking we're not even going to make it 3 months without power.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are just going to die off.
A lot of people would die off.
Yeah. And it's sad and it makes sense though. Mm-hmm. So I could try to go further into it. I don't know, you know, on the politics and all that, like, you know, I don't know a ton about it.
I mean, how long would the server be down for?
As long as they're attacking.
So how would they initiate the attack?
So this is a guess from me, but if it was me behind this, so let's say I would have all of these servers ready to go. I would have one computer that had access to all of them, or you know, just imagine just like a digital switch. So I remote into a computer somewhere, wherever it is, and I press the go button basically, and the go button tells all of those SIM servers to start sending out text messages at mass volumes, and it's just going to, you know, keep people offline. So it would be somebody remotely detonating essentially. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, all of the phones in the area / tri-state area, according to what I read, would be, you know, they'd be completely useless. Not only with text messages, also phone calls, also data for the internet, completely offline.
Like hardwired internet as well?
No, internet would be okay. Because it's not affecting the cellular towers, but any cellular connection would be offline. Like you would see that you had connection, but it just wouldn't work.
How long could they keep it down for?
They would have to figure out where all of the places that were distributing all of that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it would take time. It would be substantial enough for it to be a problem, I'll tell you that much. Especially, imagine if it happened in like Utah or somewhere where there wasn't, you know, like I don't know, I'm just taking a random guess, but like somewhere that a little more desolate in certain areas at least. It would take a while for that to be fixed, I believe.
Would there be a way to trace that type of a signal? I mean, I remember seeing the pictures of that. And I mean, was like tons of antennas and electronics. I mean, do one of these devices go, whoa, there's like a lot of text messages coming from that building?
So none of these devices are going to go. I mean, you may be able to pull some general cellular frequency stuff from the hack RF slash H4M, like the new hack RF. Well, combination. It's a whole thing. But you may be able to see something on here, like, like a waterfall display is. It's just like colors going down the screen. You may be able to see like a big fluctuation of that, but I don't know for sure, to be honest with you. But I do know that with a denial of service attack, with a ton of numbers, taking 20 million phones offline, I mean, that's a serious problem, regardless if they could find it or not. But the problem is this. The problem is, if you're not sending or receiving text messages on all of these SIM servers, then how are they going to identify that they're there? Because they're not transmitting or receiving any data at that point. If the remote on and off switch I was talking about earlier was off, they're not going to be able to determine that they're there yet. But the second they start sending out a signal, it's probably a little bit easier for them to detect all of this data is coming out of this specific spot. They could just, go around with an electromagnetic, field detector and say, wow, there's a crap ton of all this coming out of this building.
By then it's too late.
Yeah, at that point, it's already caused a mass hysteria or a mass problem, or the media is already reporting on China's attacking us or whatever, God forbid, happens. Shit. So, yeah, it's wild, man.
So what is the red thing here?
So this is a radio that I built for you. I bought the parts, obviously. The nerd details. It's a Heltec V3. It's a 3D printed case. It's got a custom antenna on it that gives you a little bit more range, because out here there's a lot more space than like in South Florida. We have hurricanes. We have all of the different emergencies that might happen, and we can operate with a little bit smaller antennas than what you would need in this state. So basically, what this device does is it operates very similar to a walkie-talkie. So but a way cooler. So just hear me out. Like when you click a walkie-talkie and we're within range of each other, you're going to hear me, I'm going to hear you. Same with this. So this doesn't use your voice. You don't talk on it like a phone. You text with this. So imagine I send a text and I say, hey, Shawn. And then let's say you're within 100 feet of me, you receive it. Now let's say you're 10 miles away from me. This antenna isn't going 10 miles. With a walkie-talkie, it isn't going 10 miles. The reason why they call it Meshtastic is because it's using all of the devices in between you to mesh together to get that message to the intended recipient. And on top of that, it's fully encrypted. So the devices that are carrying the message, imagine all the walkie-talkies are carrying that message until it gets to you, but none of them can hear your voice until it gets to the destination. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's a primary channel, which is just it's non-encrypted. Everybody's conversations in there. That's great for the natural hurricanes or emergencies. And then let's say you and I want to talk about something private off the grid. This has no cellular connection, no monthly bill. This is straight up using its own transmit and receive right from that antenna. And you can be 100% anonymous with this, and no way to recover anything. I mean, this could also be used maliciously, to be honest with you, but so can anything. I don't think it. I don't know. It's just it's a super cool device.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.